his head and neck on Thursday Night Football got like snapped back, and then and one of the scariest like sports sites I've ever seen is when he has like the crossed up fingers when he's
Yeah, it
like
looked like
going to
he had
like
broken
hold
his
his head.
finger, and you couldn't figure out what looked like his finger like had like snapped off. And you're like, what's going on? And then they report that he was seizing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then and that was again only 4 days after the Bills hit the hit against the Bills. And then Saturday, the independent neurotrauma consultant was fired by the Dolphins. And so this raises a lot of concerns about, again, just like it was only 5, 6, 7 years ago, how is the NFL handling concussions? Was this handled the correct way? And for the NFL, this is probably the worst PR thing to happen to them at the moment, as a sport. But more importantly for Tua, it's like not only the football side of it, but it's just a fucking terrifying thing to see. Is like I can't even imagine being like his mother. In my opinion, this is the worst thing that could happen to the NFL at this moment, just with concussions. This is the one thing that could really, if there's any Achilles heel to the NFL and football as a sport, it's concussions and brain damage. And it's just a terrifying sight, and it's a terrifying thing to witness as a fan, let alone the parent of a player or something like that. And thankfully, I've never had a concussion. I've gotten my bell rung a few times, but nothing too crazy. Mainly because I sucked at football and I hated the contact. And it's a failure on the Dolphins. It's a failure on the NFL, and it's a failure on the Players Association that they allow that the NFL and the Players Association allow these certain doctors to clear these players when it's just not the case. And Tua was woozy during the Bills game. The fact that they called it a bullshit, and for that sight to occur on Thursday Night Football when it's the first like real game of the weekend, it's an atrocity. And it shows that the NFL just again, it's another case where it feels like the NFL just doesn't give a shit about its players. And it's like, okay, just plug in Teddy Bridgewater. We don't care. We just want like someone up there. And I felt like Tua was betrayed by the organization that should be protecting him.
Absolutely. No, everything you just said is 100% right. Like, how do his parents feel? How does any of his loved ones feel watching that? And his friends, his teammates, knowing that. I don't understand how there's no one else in the Dolphins. Like, I get that there was like, hey man, he's finally looked good. We're off to the best start we've had in years. We could have some real momentum here. We beat the Bills, the whole 9 yards. This and that. Like, I don't understand how there was nobody else on that roster that stood up and said, what the fuck is Tua doing in this game? There was no way he should have gone back in that game against the Bills, let alone been out there last Thursday whatsoever. And if he sees the field before November, it is an absolute travesty, and it is such a missed up. No, I don't want to say missed opportunity is not the right way. It is criminal. Thank you. It is criminal on the NFL's part that they should be tried for attempted murder. I'm serious. Like, there is no reason he should have ever been out there. The studies have come out and showed that if you get a concussion, you can recover from, right? But if you get a concussion within like 2 weeks, and Hoskins struck out like an asshole. If you get a concussion within 2 weeks or like 10 days or something after that first one you got, it is like you've gotten like 3 or 4 together is how it happens. And let me tell you, I can tell you because I've done it before. I got 3 in a span of 10 days my freshman year of college. And it brings on a whole other thing.
But it's brain function is what it
right.
is. Like that's completely different than a broken bone in your leg or an ankle or something like that. And that's
CTE, everything like that, and it affects at so many different levels. Like, I can tell you right now, like, yeah, I had depression and anxiety issues prior to all these like happening, but I can tell you my depression and anxiety was definitely increased by concussions. And I remember like sitting like finals week, sitting outside like when I should have been studying, and I'm with my girlfriend at the time. And I remember like for no reason whatsoever, I was just so depressed that I was like not like suicidal, but I was like nothing could cheer me up. And I just remember she stayed up the whole night with me trying to like talk me down and like make like, you have a lot of good things going for you, this and that. And like, it was like, I'd never been that more depressed in my life. And you wonder why all these people that end up having CT kill themselves, because I can only imagine how much more darker it gets for them.
more like Junior Seau, like Rob Ninkovich.
Exactly.
I will
all these guys.
Yeah, so Rob Ninkovich, who was teammates with Junior Seau at one point, he was explaining just how troubling it is when you have a teammate that's going through something like this, and it's like that's how it can end. That's how it can end. And no person should be subjected to that. And that's where this kind of lands. It's just like you had an athlete that was clearly not fit to play mentally and physically. Did they do it?
Red October.
All right, well, we'll wrap this up. But yeah, it's brain function, completely different story. And hopefully that Tua can get healthy and functioning and he'll be all right for the long run. So let's get to the Phillies right now. Red October.
Them firing that independent doctor is such bullshit. They're making that person a scapegoat. That person, if I'm them, I fucking sue the NFL because I guarantee you that was not the person who gave the final answer to send it back out there. I would, for a fact that they made him doctor up results, and it's bullshit that they're making this person out to be the scapegoat and the one who's all at fault. The Dolphins are at fault, the NFLPA, like you said, and the NFL. Tua should not see the field until they can prove to us through test and medical research and everything that is literally okay for him to go out there, and they are not putting his life on the line.